And
Are you kidding
we're talking
me?
about Kyle Miller. Okay?
They trying to Scooby-Doo the fence?
He never lifted.
He's just trying to find some more grip.
Something. He came down and the car hit and it went back up on the concrete wall and, kind of up. Like I thought he was going to flip, and he just kept the hammer down and drove out of it, and the car landed. And that's when the front end, the axle and the torsion bars busted, and they were flopping and,
Just end over
hopping.
end.
And he just kind of cruised down the front stretch to a stop, and they put him on the hook. But that was on lap 11. So he made it 11 laps. But I'll tell you right now.
He was on a mission, though.
I'll tell you something right now. It was a very exciting 11 laps for those fans. After that, there was 4 cars that were really fast, and the rest of the guys were just there. Theo McCarty in the 24 was very fast. We had just some, it was pretty decent racing.
What about Tim Albertine?
Albertine was third.
Was he?
Another guy that was right there. A very good driver. Very good driver.
About that young lady.
Fourth.
Yeah?
Lindsey Barney.
Yeah.
And she was one of the few drivers that was really fast on the bottom.
Now, was the Oregon Duck sponsor car there?
No.
What?
The old guy didn't show.
He says he was going to.
He did not show up. No, sir.
Scared.
He did not show up. I even asked about that. And all the guys kind of smiled and said, no, he didn't come tonight. But yeah, that was the top 4.
He was a threat though, man. When he almost went end over end, when him and Gumby and Barney got into it on the backstretch at Sunset, and almost went over, and then still landed on the wheels or whatever, and then came back and won that feature like dominant.
Yeah, see, that surprises me that even happened, because those cars are so fragile when you get in that kind of situation. And Kyle Miller, thank God he didn't go over,
right?
Because he was going so fast. At that point of the race, he probably was the fastest car on the track.
No kidding.
But he was in traffic, trying to slide jobs, and Lindsey, Rob Lindsey had open racetrack to work with, and man, Rob Lindsey is smooth.
But Aberdeen was third, and
Theo McCarty was second, and fourth went to Little Miss Lindsey Barney.
No kidding.
Yeah,
that girl is. And how old? She's only what?
16 years old. Yeah.
She drives that car like Steve Kinzer.
But she was truly one of the, I'd say probably one of the only 2 cars on the bottom that were fast. Everybody else had a really hard time in the bottom. It was kind of middle groove up.
Really?
But she was.
Wow, that's kind of.
She had the bottom figured out, and I think that's just because she's so smooth.
Oh yeah.
But she'd drive it in, and she'd just get it around the bottom and get that car to roll in and work the throttle and drive off, and she had a good run. But nobody after Miller's incident, there wasn't anybody there that had anything for Lindsey. Now McCarty and Theo McCarty and Albertine, boy, they had a battle.
Did they really?
Oh man,
I like watching Timmy.
Oh yeah, great driver.
He's so
and
fun.
even more fun
so
to talk to,
right?
These guys they were going for it, and McCarty was one of those deals where he kind of had that line that Albertine needed. Tim needed that line to get it from him, and he wasn't going to give him an inch, and he held off for the second spot. But man, it was a good race. That was, in the sprint cars, hands down, that was the best battle of the night was between those two. But in the end, it was Rob Lindsey picking up the win, and consistently smooth all the way around. Did just a good job of driving, and yeah, those guys in those wingless sprint cars. No, thank you. I'm glad. I don't mean this in a bad way, but I'm just from a heart rate point of view. I'm just glad we only see those guys once a year.
They're pretty crazy.
They're absolutely insane. There's no pretty crazy about it. They're absolutely insane.
See, I wouldn't mind doing that. I've driven.
Well, you're not the smartest guy in the world either, Josh.
Well, we know that. That's a given. When Zimmerly and stuff like that, when I helped them a couple times and got to take that Ford Focus midget up there at Elma and then jump into his 360 car, that with a wing, that was quite different. And then when they took the wing off just to go practice,
whole different ball game. Absolutely.
You are driving that car, especially up at Elma and stuff too. It's so fast.
Yeah, that's a big track.
It's crazy.
So Super Sports, we had no late models, no modifieds. You guys had all of our modifieds, and
some of them went down to Cottage Grove.
They did.
And we got drama even on that.
Yeah.
We have drama on the sense of our double points, double pay, and some people couldn't. Yeah.
Well, make a choice.
Well, that's what was said.
Yeah.
Some decided to go, and then some people decided not to go.
Right.
So
we had
it is what it is.
super sports. I mean, we had a great super sport field.
Yeah.
I think we had 17 or 18 of them sign in.
That's
Big field,
good.
big field of super sports.
See, that's what I like.
And we've talked about this guy a few times on the program this year, and I've been telling everybody he's been getting faster and faster week in and week out, and I even said it wasn't a matter of if he wins, simply a matter of when.
When he wins.
And Brian Winkler collected a win Saturday night in the 88
No
car.
kidding?
Yes. Now,
hell yeah.
He got out front. He had some racetrack to work with, and he, I don't know how he held onto that car a couple times because the car, they've been working a lot on the setup underneath him on that thing, and it's been getting better. But there was a couple laps there during the feature, and it wasn't like a couple laps in a row, or it was kind of just like a lap here and a lap there. The car he'd come in, just drive it in, set it. I mean, almost old school outlaw late model racing with the injected motors. He'd just drive it in, get that car to set on the throttle, and just, launch out of the turns, right? Then, 2 laps later, he'd drive in, go to turn the car at the apex, get on the throttle, and that thing would go straight towards the straightaway wall. I mean, it would just get tight, and the front end would come out, and he'd have to lift and touch the brakes and get the car to turn. And so he had his hands full, and I don't know if, he was not driving in hard enough on those laps to get the car to rotate at the apex. But all in all, I mean, he pulled it off. He got the win by about a straightaway.
No kidding.
Yeah, by about a straightaway. So that was a pretty good deal for him. It was a big night for the Winkler crew.
That's cool. And see, I mean, it's just like the street stocks, the super sports, everything else. I like the lower classes. Just because, man, like the 4Bs, right? And then the street stocks up there and the pure stocks. Those guys they battle really, really well. They don't have tens of $1,000s in their car,
right?
But they drive. I think I don't know. I mean,
well, so listen to this: second place in the super sports Saturday night drove the P car, number P,
right?
Okay. Randy Boyd.
P car.
Randy Boyd.
Randy Boyd came back out
in a super sport car. It's the old car that he built.
In a P. What?
Don't ask me. You know what?
Was it an inside joke?
No, it has to be because with those guys there.
Was it yellow?
No.
Oh.
It's black and white and blue. I mean, it's not a bad looking race car. And I'll tell you what, it was working pretty darn good.
Was it really?
I'm not even. With
was
that
it packing
crew,
the left front?
Not really. The car just looked pretty good. I mean, it had a pretty good setup underneath him, and Randy's a veteran.
Oh,
and
yeah.
Knows
anything
how to
he gets into, yeah.
He knows how to set up a race car. But he had a good, strong run for second. For a little bit there, he was kind of reeling him in. And
car.
But you know what? With those guys, I'm not even going to ask that question.
Yeah, I'm cool.
Not even going to ask that question. But third place. Now, this is the super sports we're talking about. Another guy that we've said, has been fast, consistently fast, getting better every week was the 16 of Chris Mott.
There you go.
Yeah, Chris got a good, strong third-place run, fourth.
Well, I think he's starting to adapt to the track. I think he's learning, different grooves. I think he's understanding the car a little bit better.
Well, and we've seen Chris all year in his red and white car. Saturday night, he shows up in his old black and purple and white car. Green and purple and white, and it's the first time I've seen the car all year, and he goes out and runs third. So I was thinking, wow.
What?
I mean, yeah.
Hey, bringing out the dinosaur, man.
Why not? I mean, it worked. I mean, we might see that car the rest of the year at this point.
Yeah, especially if you finish third.
Now, fourth place, and this was a deal where started, fairly deep in the field, worked his way through, got caught up in not lap traffic, but got caught up in a fast group of cars trying to pass and had a really good race going. But finished fourth was the 44T of Brian Thompson.
There you go.
And rounding out the top five in the 61 car, filling in for Jerry Casey, was Boogie Johnson. Boogie Johnson, a.k.a. Brian Smith.
Yeah, Boogie.
So anytime Brian's in a car, it's a new name. So we're going to do this the rest of the year. Anytime that guy gets in a car. So far this year, he's been Boogie Johnson. He's been
This is the best because we talked about this 2 weeks ago.
He's been Cotton Farmer. I mean, he's been. I mean,
Cotton Eye Joe.
I mean, in the past, we've had some creative names for him. But Saturday night he was Boogie Johnson. We've had him as Timmy Templeton.
That's the one last week, 2 weeks ago, that I about fell out of my chair.
But he drove the 61 for Jerry Casey and got a 5th place win.
What's he going to drive next week?
You know what? I don't know, but we'll have a good name for him. I'll promise you that.
We got to think.
Now, one of the deals here in the Super Sports, Boogie Johnson.
Do you have theme music for these guys to qualify? Because this is what I'm starting to do is with some of the street stock guys or whatever. Like when Arnie Case comes out or whatever, I'll play Wrecking Ball by what's her crazy face.
Has Arnie heard this yet?
Oh yeah, they love it.
Oh, okay.
No, this is
right.
funny. So this happened last month. I don't mean to get into it, but like Joey Tardio is Ice Baby. Trevor LaBarge is something else, and I mean, just some of these guys or whatever. Benny Sauter's something else, or like that. And it was funny because none of these guys even knew I was going to do it.
So Joey Tardio rolls on the track, and you're playing Ice Baby.
Dun dun dun.
Are you trying to get beat up?
No, they love it. I swear to God, it was cool. No, listen, the fans were like loving it. This is the thing. I talked to Jen, and that's Arnie's wife and stuff, and they're talking about Stretch and Arnie and all that type of stuff, and they call that car, Wrecking Ball.
Right.
And so I talked to Jen. I said, hey, with this, and she goes, oh, that'd be funniest as hell. I was like, all right. And so when he comes out, I have it played right there. I go, I come in like a wrecking
Don't ever
ball.
Stop that right now. Don't ever do that again in the studio.
That was awesome.
No, it was not.
That's a gold medal.
That was so far from awesome.
That's platinum.
Josh,
I can sell 4 records.
No, you won't sell 4 records, period, over the next 100 years doing it.
Can I take my shirt off again?
God, please no. Now listen, Dan Dybel, who has been absolutely fast in the 74, not whole market Swartz.
Right.
A little bit of bad luck with the Ford crate motor. It let go on him.
Shut up.
Yeah, and he was running second in his heat race. Had a really good run going. He was second fast qualifier, or the fast qualifier.
Wait. Something happened to the motor?
I don't know what happened, but it went up in smoke. So
he's crop destined. Nothing's wrong with that motor. It's a Ford. He's crop destined.
Well, he ended his night in the heat races. So, that being said,
maybe he was hungry and needed to go to the concession stand. He didn't want to race that night anyway.
Oh, Dan Dybel's a racer.
Dan's always was, I'm a dedicated Ford fan because of him. I will lie, cheat, and steal to tell you that Ford motor was crop destined the inside of turn number 2. It pushed up a little bit because the middle groove of the backstretch, this is what I heard, had some weeds that Chris didn't get to. And so there was grasshopper. You're believing some of this stuff, right? There was grasshoppers on the track, and then he says, "You know what?" He says, "I'm good." He says, "We got it under control. The fans are okay." He was just like the beginning of Talladega Nights, where the guy gets out of his car and goes and eats a sandwich.
For all of our young listeners, this is why Nancy Reagan said, "Just say no."
That's awesome. Oh my God!
So it was a bad night for Dybel, but the big thing in this whole Supersport story was Brian Thompson made up a good chunk of points and championship points because Randy Barley had some bad luck. He did finish, but he was multiple laps down, kind of just putting around the inside of the track.
Man, whatever.
Okay? So that being said, Winkler, who's in that championship mix, gets the win. Thompson makes up a bunch of points. Those guys gained a lot of ground on that 13B car, the points leader of Randy Barley. Now, we know Randy's got another car sitting there, whatever the case may be. He'll be back out here this Saturday, and we're going to talk about this. Super Sports coming up.
I'd like to have an interview with him for next week to talk about what happened this week to play on Moxie. And ask him about just go to him or whatever and say, hey, look, we want to talk to you a little bit about your last week's deal and all that type of stuff, and I wanted to try to get Craig Castle on the phone, and if Craig's actually listening or like that, you can definitely call in. I want to talk to him, but I want to do an interview with him too about the points battle, him and Bubba Foster.
Well, we've got some great points battles here in the Northwest. The Supersport is shaping up to be a big time.
See, that's cool to me.
Now, Supersports this Saturday night at Willamette Speedway. This is big. Like you guys last week, we're pulling off the Twin 50s for the Supersports.
Ooh!
2 separate races.
All in one night.
Paying separate points. Separate purses. Here's the catch to this one. They're only going to qualify once.
Yep.
They go out and they qualify. Based upon their qualifying,